You thought twice about going to a 4-year school, but still not quite sure what to do? Here are 6 career choices that can bring in 6 figures for you without the college debt.
1, 2, 3, 4.
This is StewardShift, a show that gives you the tools you need to get the most of your best resources. Your money, your mind, your body, your time.
Welcome back to the StewardShift Show. My name is Troy Solomon Levy and I am your host. I want to start off this video by saying that I am not against education at all. I think that education is a beautiful thing. Education helps us to improve ourselves, but I do want you to know that education doesn't necessarily have to take one form or the other. Education can come in many different shapes, sizes, colors, so on and so forth. So as we speak, I'm on the committee for planning for my 20-year high school alumni. And if I graduated from high school 20 years ago, that means that I started college 20 years ago also. And that's just a crazy thing to me. Now, for me, I did go to a 4-year college, got a master's degree and all that good stuff. And I worked in my field for 13 years. I loved it. I have no regrets whatsoever. But I tell you that because I am starting to wonder how I should raise my sons. My oldest son is going to high school now. And as we're preparing him for his career field, he goes to college, hopefully, or has a higher level of education in about 4 years after he graduates from high school. My wife and I are trying to figure out how we should nudge him in the right directions. We don't want to push him towards any career field. We want him to be able to decide for himself, but we do want him to be set up for success as much as possible. And we don't want him to go the route of going to a 4-year college because that's what everyone expects him to do. Come out with debt on the other side of things and not even have the career choice that he wants for himself. So we do want him to understand what his options are. And I want you as my audience to understand what your options can be as well. You can have a high paying, meaning 6-figure career without going into debt, going to a 4-year school in order to get it. So for the first career that I'm going to introduce to you right now, I hope that you don't mind getting your hands dirty. I sure wouldn't mind at all because I think that this is a beautiful career. But the first career that you can get or go into without having the 6-figure debt, but having also the 6-figure salary is an elevator and escalator installer. The career field for this isn't necessarily the largest, like the growth for it isn't necessarily the largest kind of growth there. I don't want to say that this career field is saturated, but there are a lot of older people who are nearing retirement who are in this career field currently. And on the flip side, there aren't a whole lot of younger people going into this career choice, which means that if you are currently younger, that this can be a very viable career choice just for you. Now, the average salary for this is around $99,999. I know that this isn't quite 6 figures, but who's counting that last dollar? How you can get into it is getting an internship, and usually these internships are through unions. And so it's not exactly the easiest thing to get into as in terms of getting into a union. But if you can find an internship for this career choice for an elevator and escalator installer or technician, then this would be a great thing to get into. And of course, you know that once you get into a union, it can be very, very hard to lose your job. OK, so your job is pretty much safe if you can get into this career field. The next career that we'll discuss here today, and I think that all of us use these kinds of devices literally on a daily basis. If you don't use it on a daily basis, you use something that's operating based on these, and that's a computer programmer. Look, we all use computers every single day, whether you're getting into a car, whether you're looking at a camera, whether you're doing your work on an actual computer, whether you're at a red light. All of these things are using computers, and all of these computers are requiring programmers. Now, you do not need a 4-year degree to be a computer programmer. Many computer programmers do have a 4-year degree. We won't lie about that, but you don't absolutely need one. What you can do is go to a coding boot camp. These can last several weeks. I've seen some for like 12 weeks. There are others that are about 6 months or so. but you can go to a coding boot camp. You can choose specialization. Once you choose your specialization as a computer programmer, you can begin to build your portfolio, which is almost like building a resume for the rest of us. And once you build your portfolio, go ahead and increase your skills with certifications and with internships. And it can be a good journey towards the average salary of $107,700 some odd dollars. Now, that's nothing to sneeze at. That's actually a pretty good salary for someone who doesn't have a college degree. And again, you just don't absolutely need the college degree in order to do this. Now, during COVID, I know that everyone experienced the supply chain breakage that was going on from supplies and products that were coming over from many distant countries, especially from China. And there definitely was a breakdown in that supply chain, which drove prices up. And of course, that did drive the whole economy up. Things became more expensive. And I'm just wondering now, why are things still expensive when the supply chain has more or less been fixed for the better? That's another topic for another video. But for supply chain managers, which are also known as distribution or logistics managers as well, these are very much in great demand as our supply chain industry expands. Now, many of us know Amazon, these companies like Amazon and others, where you can go on and order from these companies. And all of these companies, especially Amazon, they really depend on a good supply chain. Now, you're not going to come into the supply chain or the logistics career field as a manager off the rip. That usually does not happen. But you can start small. You can start entry level as a supply chain administrator or something like that. And you can take some developmental courses in the meantime that can help you to get to that management level. Now, I did recently do a video about 10 high paying careers that do not require a college degree. And I started off that video by saying that as much as you can learn about leadership as possible, you're going to do very, very well for yourself. And oftentimes these careers, you're not going to enter into these careers automatically as a six-figure earner, but you can earn more and kind of climb the corporate rungs of the ladder by being a good leader. And being a good leader is less about knowing directly as much as possible about the products or the services that are offered in that particular career. And it's more about learning how to deal with people. And I'm challenging you to know how to deal with people. Read books like Dale Carnegie's great book about I'm trying to remember what the title is, but how to win friends and influence people. I'm sure that's what the title of his great book is all about. Read great books by John Maxwell and others who are leadership gurus, and learning how to be a better leader will help you to deal better with people and how to progress more in your career. It's going to work wonders for you. And those things don't cost the great soaring cost of formal education. You can literally right now jump online, pay about $5, $10 for a great classic leadership book, and your life will be forever changed by those things. The next career field is similar to the one that I said about before the supply chain manager, and that is a computer security analyst. Now, computer security analysts protect an organization's computers, protects their systems and their data against threats and breaches. And if you've been paying attention, I think I just got an email a day or two ago from a very major company that I had information with, sensitive information with, like my date of birth, so on and so forth. And they sent me an email within the past couple of days saying that their security had been breached. And these kinds of things happen all the time. And this is why we need more people in the computer security analyst field. Now, they make $112,000 per year on average. So this is a very, very good career field to get involved in. Now, you'll be surprised with these last two. And by the way, we are increasing the annual salary which each of these that we go through, but you'll be surprised about this next to last one that you don't need a 4-year degree for, and that's a commercial pilot. Now, as I was doing my research, I thought that all pilots needed a 4-year degree. I went to school with people who were literally studying to be a pilot, and they had to rent their hours and whatnot, and go up in the air. It was a very expensive process for them. And I just didn't realize that you can indeed be a commercial pilot without a 4-year degree. Now, from as far as I understand, being an airline pilot, they are looking for people more or less who have that 4-year degree. But for commercial pilots, you do not need that degree in order to do that. You do need to have some certifications. You do need to pass licenses, obviously, and you do need to undergo a commercial pilot course as well as flight training, and you do need to pass the FAA test. So all of that does need to happen, but you do not need to go to the classic 4-year college in order to do those things. And on average, they earn $127,000, which is a very, very good salary for someone who does or did not go to college. Now, the last one, I have a very, very good friend who does sales for a living, and he's done sales for several Fortune 500, really Fortune 100 companies. And he does have a college degree. He does very, very well for himself, but you do not need a college degree in order to get into sales. You can actually be a sales director. You're not going to get that. That's not an entry-level position, but you can work your way up through leadership skills, increasing your leadership skills. And sales managers or directors do make very good money. On average, they make $195,000. Now, you can get into this by being a sales representative, move up to being an account manager or an account exec. And the more experience you get, the easier it'll be for you to work your way up to that coveted sales director position. Now, you do need to be good at sales in order to do this. Now, I'm going to tell you that sales isn't really my thing. I have family that have worked in sales. I have good friends that work in sales. Being a salesperson isn't really my thing, and it's not everybody's thing. But if you have the natural gift, if you have a knack for sales, then this possibly can be a great lane for you to work your way up into the 6-figure, yay, even double that, almost $200,000 range by being a sales director. Now, I want to say before we end this that it doesn't make sense to make a whole lot of money if you don't know how to manage it. And if you have trouble managing your money, then I invite you to take part and check out the blueprint course that I created that is in the description. Make sure you check that out. And the more money you make, the more potential you have to keep that money in your pocket right where it belongs so that it's not flying out the window like all the other dollars that you've made, not even making 6 figures. You need to learn how to manage whatever you make so that you can do as best you can with whatever you have. Look, you've got to be able to earn more as much as you can and manage more as much as you can. And you don't have to do that using the 4-year classic college degree. If you want to learn more about how to do that, if you didn't find a job that you exactly liked in this video, then I invite you to check out our other video on top 10 high-paying jobs that don't require degrees. Make sure you check it out, and I'm sure you'll find something that will help you get to your next level.